Hello and welcome to the first instalment in my new Bass Lick of the Week series. Now before we dive into the line itself, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so let's take a look at this week's bass groove. This is obviously a slap bass line. We're going to be in the key of F sharp minor, and we're going to be using fairly conventional slap bass technique with the exception of a couple of slightly more advanced techniques, and those are going to be popped double stops and the use of pitched fretting hand slaps, and we'll talk about both of those elements in just a moment. So as I said, we're in the key of F sharp minor, and we're going to begin the line by playing this figure. So we're going to be slapping the low F sharp down at the second fret of the E string. We're going to play that on beat 1, then we're going to play it again, and then we're going to pop 2 notes just towards the end of that beat. And the 2 notes that we're going to be popping are going to be the E and the A, both found at the second frets of the D string and the G string. That's our opening figure. Okay, now popping 2 notes simultaneously in this way is one of the techniques that we're going to be using quite extensively in this line. This is a popped double stop, and a double stop is essentially 2 notes that are played simultaneously. So this is a great example of that. Now in terms of what we've got going on here harmonically, we're outlining the sound of an F sharp minor 7 chord. We've got our root note F sharp, we've got the E, which is the minor 7th, and we've got the A on the top there, that's the minor 3rd, and that gives us a really nice F sharp minor 7 chord voicing. So we're spelling out the chord very clearly. We're going to come into beat 2 with 2 ghost notes. We're going to be playing a slapped ghost note and then a popped ghost note. You can pop the ghost note on the D string. So directly following that figure on beat 1, we're going to play those 2 ghost notes. And then we're going to play this lick. It's going to be a hammer on from the C into the C sharp. It's got 2 ghost notes, then the hammer on from the C into the C sharp. And then we're going to finish off the bar with this phrase. Now what's happening here is we're popping the E on the D string. We come down onto that C natural, which is slapped. And then we're going to play a double pull off from the C. We're going to pull off down to the B at the second fret and then onto the open A string. Gives us 4 16th notes. That's beat number 3. And then to finish off this bar, we're just going to play 2 8th notes on beat number 4. And that's going to be a B and an open A. Now, in terms of what's happening harmonically with the second part of this line, we're using the F sharp blues scale. The F sharp blues scale would be F sharp, obviously, A, B, C natural, that's our blue note, C sharp, E, and F sharp. And you'll notice that as we're playing this line, the blue note, the C natural, the flattened 5th, is being used quite heavily and really spelling out that bluesy quality. Okay, that's the first bar of this exercise, and once you get that down, it's really going to help the rest of the exercise fall into place. Moving into the second bar, we're going to begin in the same way. The first 2 beats are going to be exactly the same. That's the first beat. Then we've got our 2 ghost notes and our hammer on from the C to the C sharp. And then on beat 3, we're going to do this. Now this is going to be a slightly unusual technique in that we're going to be popping and slapping on the same string in quick succession. This can be quite tricky to do, so you might need to practice this slowly to begin with. We're going to be popping the E at the second fret of the D string, and we're then immediately going to slap it. We're going to follow that with a hammer on to the octave F sharp, and then we're going to play a ghost note at the end of the beat. Like that. That's what we've got so far. Now to finish off this bar, we're going to play another popped double stop. This one's going to be a little bit different. What we're going to do here is we're going to be playing the open G string and the F sharp at the 4th fret. and you get a very, very dissonant sound when you do this. That's a minor second interval, and it sounds very, very jarring. But what we're going to do is we're going to bend that F sharp upwards by a half step so that it also becomes a G. So you're going to get this dissonance that resolves really nicely. This kind of thing. Like that. Now this is something that I picked up from bass player Stuart, who uses this kind of idea of bending double stops quite a lot in his playing, and if you listen to a lot of his early albums, you'll hear this this technique being used quite extensively. It's a really nice colourful thing to throw into your slap bass playing. Okay, so that gives us the first 2 bars of this exercise. Okay, moving on to the 3rd bar, we're going to play exactly the same thing as we played back in bar number 1. And that takes us into the 4th and final bar of the exercise, where we're going to be playing a closing lick that uses the blues scale once again really quite extensively. We're going to play this line. So let's take a look at what happens here. We're going to be popping the B on the G string. We're going to slide upwards to the C, that's our blue note again, and then back to the B. And I recommend you use your 4th finger for this, because we're then going to pull off to the A, and you'll need your 1st finger in place for that one. We're then going to come down and use the 4th finger to play a pitched fretting hand slap onto the F sharp. So what I mean by pitched fretting hand slap is the picking hand isn't involved at all. The fretting hand is going to sound a note by just hammering onto the string kind of from nowhere. You get this very kind of smooth legato phrase. So I'm really only picking the string once with my picking hand, that initial pop, and the rest of the notes are being performed by the fretting hand. That's the figure that we play on beat number 1. There's a 16th note triplet there at the beginning, so it goes by fairly quickly. We're then going to play, we're going to pop the A again and then play another fretting hand slap back onto that F sharp, like that. We're then going to slap the F sharp and pop the B. And that's going to be a really natural thing to do because your hand is going to be in this position. You can use your 4th finger to bar across the F sharp and the B. Like that. And then we're going to finish off this line with this figure. And this is playing the B on the A string, sliding into that blue note, the C natural again. We then pop the octave C, and you can afford to allow the root note and the octave to ring together. It's going to give it a nice thick sound. So with them both ringing, we're then going to slap that lower C again and slide both notes downwards to the B. And then we pop the octave B. And then we have one final note in this bar, and it's an open E string. And it's just going to take us really nicely back onto the F sharp so that we can repeat the line. Okay, so bar 4. And one more time. Okay, so that concludes Bass Lick of the Week number 1. Before I go, I'm just going to talk very briefly about the kind of tone that you want to use for a line like this. You want a fairly bright slap bass sound. What I'm using here is, the instrument that I'm playing is a GB Guitars Spitfire bass. This is essentially a modern take on a jazz bass, essentially a jazz bass but with 24 frets. It's got the same kind of control configuration, so 2 single coil pickups, volume, and tone, and I've got everything turned up full, which is, to my mind, the best kind of slap bass sound that you can get out of a jazz bass. Just turn everything up full. So you want a fairly bright sound for a line like this. Okay, so that is Bass Lick number 1. I hope you enjoyed working through that with me. Thanks for checking out the first instalment of my new Bass Lick of the Week series. If you'd like to download the PDF workbook and audio files for this exercise, just click on the link in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to head over to basslinepublishing.com to check out my full range of bass guitar video courses. Okay, I'll see you next week for another bass groove.